But that summed it up. He stood holding Xhaka and watched the ball go in there. I mean, yeah, that was an impressive performance today.
Can they push City all the way? Are we starting to change that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, you got to. If you keep playing like that without any serious injuries, yeah. Again, Saliba was very good at the back, but he didn't have to do a lot. What he had to do was good, but he didn't have to do a lot because Chelsea was so soft, so poor going forward. I thought the best player again, and he's a key for them, was Partey. Yeah. And what he does is brilliantly efficient at times, where it's 5 and 10 yards, as Stevie said, 5 and 10 yards passes. It doesn't look great round the corner or whatever, tidying things up in the middle of the park. I thought he was brilliant in there. And yeah, I mean, Jesus is not scoring. They're managing to win. He should have scored with a header. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why not?
I like Xhaka.
Yeah, he's playing well.
Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought that?
Yeah. What is it?
When he was
changed?
leaving, has to be the manager in the setup.
Right.
And the one thing he's doing, he keeps popping up on the edge of the box or in the box. Never did that in his life in the Premier League, ever, until this current Arsenal side he's playing in. All he did, in my opinion, was sit in the middle and pass it sideways and argue with people. And if anybody was running past him, he'd trip them up. He's completely changed his game. Yeah. He's absolutely doing none of those things. He's concentrating on playing. And even when he does get involved, he's got that real confident, smart look about him where he's just like baiting the opposition, but looking as though he's like, his butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. Instead of this angry man that was gesturing to his home supporters at one stage. So I tell you, for me, he's amongst probably 4 or 5 players, he's one guy they can't do without, along with his mate Partey right in the middle. What a pair.
But he did show that side at the end.
Towards the end of the corner, wasn't it?
Where Steve was talking about, he seems to have learned his lesson. The game's done. There's 30 seconds left, and him and Kovacic are going at it, and he wants to go back and get involved, and his teammates are pulling him away. And I'm not suggesting it's a huge thing, but if that ends up as a yellow card, and we know he's got a tendency to pick up a lot of those, it's a suspension that you don't need, and it's a big part of that cog coming out of the team. That was about the only negative had it arisen, because Arsenal were superb.
Frank, before we get you on Chelsea, when I asked the boys if Arsenal can push City all the way, you shook your head. Why?
Well, until City and Arsenal confront themselves, you know, I still think that City is superior to Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal will prove me wrong, but that's what I deeply think, because I see City, comparing to all other clubs in the Premier League, capable of winning all the games that they play, even when they play 10 against 11. Any other team would have lost against Fulham, even if it's at home. But City didn't stop playing the way they play, and they kept on feeling, make me feeling that they will win the game. And it's what happened. I don't see Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle doing the same as our City, like I don't see Arsenal so far doing like City. Again, when the game should have been played like I think 10 days ago or a fortnight ago, but until they don't confront themselves, I would say that City is still superior than Arsenal.
Let's talk about Chelsea then. 13 points, just seen that on the screen. That's a big difference, isn't it, between 1st and 7th as it stands. Why were Chelsea so bad today, Frank?
Well, the guys put the point on something very important, and I think it was Stevie when he talked about the way that Arsenal were playing, that they don't try to get the position of the ball, and they play in 4-5 passes, they go forward and they try to score. I think that's the thing missing for a while now, for maybe years with Chelsea, where they don't put any pace in the game. Tactically nowadays, clubs are ready. Every club in the Premier League are ready to cope with any tactics. They work on that. They work for years, for hours, sorry. They check videos and everything for the week, during the week. Things we didn't do at the time. What we had, it was the fighting spirit, the commitment, and Chelsea doesn't have that. They don't have the pace. They don't know how to commit together. They don't know how to change the rhythm of their game. And so they are so we so know what they're going to happen. They try to get the possession of the ball, and that's it. There is nothing more than that. Today, except Thiago Silva, I didn't see any player doing something good. I want to know what Havertz is doing offensively, because his right foot, when he had the chance, he made a cross, you know, even if he's a left foot, he's an international player. I don't know what he did with that cross. We ended up not at the far post, but the far post. And defensively on the corner kick, when they conceded the goal, he's the guy who has to kick the ball away. He missed the ball for like 5 inches. I don't know. That's not possible. You know, we all know that he has talent, but what's wrong with him? In his head, like many other players where they don't play, they play just security. I make the passes, I make the pass to make sure that in my statistics that's going to be fine. You know, it's not going to be shown that I missed a pass. That's not enough. You want to win something, or at least you want to finish in the first four. No, they're not going to finish in the first four if they keep on playing like that. Arsenal, I agree with the guy, they were so much superior. They deserve to win. There is no match between the two teams. That's appalling. That's Chelsea Football Club. That's really appalling.
10 days ago when they came back from Austria, the word that everybody was using was momentum. Not brilliant performances, but Graham Potter had...
Yeah, he was unbeaten.
Unbeaten.
Yeah.
They had a bit of momentum rolling. That's been splattered in the space of 7 days. Now, there are already one or two out there who think Todd Bowley and his cronies should go and replace this guy. That's the world that we live in these days. The truth of the matter is, he's got his hands tied behind his back in some sense. He's just arrived in their injury list, and this is no excuse for their performance because they're outplayed, but it's maybe an excuse for why he's struggling to find the right balance within the team. It's as long as probably anybody's in the league with top players. And that's a huge problem for him, because you can mask that at Brighton in a sense if you've got injuries and you pick the odd result up here and there. Not at Chelsea. Yeah. Not at Liverpool, not at City, not at United. You're still sending good players out there, and you've got to have some sort of performance and result. He got neither today, and he's under pressure very, very quick. I just hope there's a lot of common sense at this club in the boardroom. Yeah, the boardroom.
In the board. Watching this reminded me of something you said about Liverpool, actually, Stevie. All the players seem out of form at the moment. Like as Frank said, who is your star? Who is the guy that's going to get you out of this hole?
I would agree with that, but the head scratcher for me is how this side, particularly in this game at home, couldn't possess the ball. I mean, a Graham Potter side, that's what you think of when you think of Graham Potter. And I also think of Chelsea earlier in the season. I think it was a Tottenham game. The possession was fantastic. And I don't think there's a huge difference in the
so names. Because there was that point where they couldn't not get out of their own half, get out of the half of the half.
That's why it's a head scratcher. How can a side with so many good players not be able to string 3 or 4 passes together? And I mean 3 or 4 passes at any stage between the whistle to start the game and the whistle to finish the game.
Are they stuck in their head, like Frank was saying?
It has to be a case of maybe the message that Potter's given them is obviously different to the one they've had from previous managers, but they can't get over whatever's in the brain. Because players as talented as what Chelsea have should be able to pass the ball, at least. You talk about personal form. You know, we're talking about somebody like Havertz who can pick a pass, or Sterling who can run past people. There's nothing. There's nothing, but at least possess the ball. Yeah. And they can't even do that. And if you can't do that, you ain't winning game.
Arsenal never gave them a minute, though.
No, they were.
I mean, it wasn't like a super high pressing game, but it was high enough. And if a ball dropped in the midfield or somewhere, there was always 1 or 2 red shirts there, getting on the second balls. They never gave them a chance. How many times did a Chelsea player, particularly in the first half, get the ball, get turned, get his head up, and be able to put it? No, never, hardly ever. So their shape, Arsenal, was great, and Chelsea didn't have the stomach to try and play around it. I mean, Stevie mentioned Brighton. Brighton played around teams like Arsenal and others, and a much better manner in which this Chelsea team attempted to do it today. It was, to say it was a poor performance would be doing it something nice.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.